Today, I'm going to replace my old rusted out French patio doors with a new pre-hung fiberglass unit, with a little help from my friend. Here's my old French patio door that is about 25 years old. You can see that over time, the steel at the bottom of the door has rusted and the wood jamb has rotted out. So I'm going to replace this steel door with a more weather-resistant fiberglass unit and PVC trim. The first step is to remove the interior trim to expose the door jamb. Use the box cutters to score and break the seal between the wall and the trim and the door and the trim. This will ensure minimal to no damage to the wall that would have to be repaired later. Then use a paint scraper, hammer, and pry bar to loosen and separate the trim from the door. Trim molding can be expensive, so if you take your time, you can minimize damaging the trim and be able to reuse it with the new French doors. And finally, make sure to remove any additional molding that will be in the way. Next, you want to determine the actual door width, height, and depth. You do this by measuring to the outside edges of the door jamb. When your new door arrives on site, you can proceed with removing the exterior trim. This time you can use an oscillating saw to break the seal between the trim and the siding. Siding is a little tougher than sheetrock and requires a little extra power. And don't worry about damaging the trim molding. The new pre-hung door comes with PVC molding in place. At this point, you can cut through and loosen the nails that are securing the door to the house. However, before you cut through the last nail, make sure someone is holding the door so it doesn't fall in. Once the door is completely loose, you can remove the old door unit and move it out of the way. These are the projects when it's nice to have some extra muscle. Thank you, honey. Anytime you replace a door, you never know what you might find. When we pulled the old door out, there was obvious water damage that caused the wood shims to rot. The original wood shims were made out of particle board, which is not appropriate material for exterior applications. So I replaced the shims with weather-resistant pressure-treated wood. And make sure you fasten the shims in place with 2.5 to 3 inch exterior wood screws. I like using 3-inch screws with most of my exterior projects because the longer screws seem to secure better. As a next step, I installed waterproof flashing on all exposed wood around the door, including along the outside top edge of the new shim boards, making sure to overlap the existing metal deck flashing. This will keep water that's splashing up off the deck from getting to the wood. Our new door came with pieces of wood attached to the bottom. These are not part of the door, they were added to prevent damage during shipping, so remove these before you install the door. Sweet, look at that. Once the door is in position, using a level, make sure it is plumb and square. Secure the door in place with 3-inch exterior screws on both the left and right side jambs. 3 screws on each side should be enough. Next, I installed the bottom trim, which is also made of PVC material. I did not have a full-length piece available, so I used 3 separate pieces and cut the ends at a 45-degree angle where they meet. The bevel cut allows the pieces to overlap and creates the appearance of one single piece, with the added benefit of a water-resistant joint. So next, we're going to cover up this gap with PVC trim. We need to offcut the siding so the trim will fit flush between the door and the siding. Set your trim piece against the door molding and use it as a guide to trace and mark the cut line. Then take the oscillating saw and cut along the line you marked to remove the offcuts. Continue to do this along both sides and along the top of the door. For the trim installed above the door, make sure it has a 10-degree slope away from the house to ensure adequate water runoff. To finish up the exterior side, I installed the additional piece of PVC trim to fill the gap and then added waterproof sealant. As a final step on the interior side, I filled the gap with foam insulation that you can get at any box store. When it was completely dry, I used a razor knife to cut the foam flush to the wall. Remember the door trim boards that I took off in the beginning? Well, I was able to salvage those and reinstall them around the new door. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and join me on my next project when I install a cable railing system on my back deck.